Hello there everybody, WhatCulture Wrestling's Adam Cleary and Phil Chambers here, now working Saturdays of course, for fuck's sake. Coming up for you today, all the wrestling news from yesterday and this morning, including...
We've got a big roundup of everything that happened on SmackDown.
There's been a new redesign for the Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh, is Austin going to wrestle Punk?
There could be a big surprise return at Survivor Series.
Is Hulk Hogan going to wrestle someone?
But first, in the first of the oh god, here we flippin' go stories leading up to WrestleMania, Seth Rollins has called out CM Punk and challenged him to a match at the Show of Shows. Now you will remember, of course, CM Punk returned to WWE last week, debuting on Backstage on Fox, not of course actually WWE, and was asked many questions about how he would advise the current roster, how he would change the product, what he would do to make WWE a better place. And when given the question of how would you fix Seth Rollins, he went, just stop tweeting!
Really good advice.
Really good advice, that.
Really good advice.
Seth Rollins, of course, responded by tweeting about it straight away, making himself look even more lame. But then the read line of this advice was just stop being so gotten to by things and looking so rattled all the time. And Seth Rollins has then gone on, we can get the radio station right, so I kept forgetting it. WKQX in Chicago. Why do American radio stations always just have really weird long initial names?
It's weird.
Anyway, WKQX in Chicago have gone on there and said, hey Seth, how did you respond to CM Punk's advice? Now, what of course Seth Rollins said was, CM Punk's a great professional, obviously love to hear whatever advice he's got, but I'm just out here doing my own thing. No, of course he didn't say that at all, did he, Phil? No, he was absolutely gotten to, and challenged him to a match at WrestleMania. He said, there's quite a long quote this, even though I've cut it down.
Here we go.
What's my Seth Rollins voice?
Just any kind of whiny, pathetic thing.
We're in his backyard, right? That doesn't work, does it? Yeah. Literally, we could probably get to his house in like 10 minutes. Bit creepy, that one. He knows for sure where I'm going to be on Sunday and Monday. Maybe he's hiding out in LA, waiting to sit behind his little desk. Or maybe he's a little keyboard warrior too. Who knows?
He has watched Backstage. He does realise he doesn't sit behind a desk.
There's no keyboard involved at all, yeah. And to be fair, who has a keyboard anymore? It's like just your phone, isn't it? Or maybe he's a little keyboard warrior too, who knows? For me, the only place that match happens is at WrestleMania in the main event. That's the only reason I'm picking a fight with him. I've got no other interest in that. If he's interested, it's out there. Anytime you're ready, let's go. Now, far be it from me to say that this is what this actual fact is. Not a man just trying to get a match with CM Punk at WrestleMania. A man who is A, slightly worried he's not going to be in the main event of WrestleMania this coming year, and B,
yeah, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. It's stop, Seth.
Punk gave you the best advice you could possibly get from anyone. Just stop this. Stop all of this.
Stop being a little bitch.
Stop being this, because nobody likes it, and this is the reason you're getting booed all the time.
I will say there's a very obvious story to do there, which would involve a big Seth heel turn, CM Punk. Let's say a surprise return at the Rumble. Looks like he's going to win. Seth, who he's already eliminated, goes back in and throws him out, and then turns on everyone saying, "I worked my ass off for this company. I worked my ass off, and you just come in here and where have you been? Well, I've been running the show."
I think Seth as the big heel company man could be a good run, but
because he is the big heel company man.
Seth as the lead face is definitely not working at the minute.
It's just I've got sympathy with him to a massive extent, because he has had to deal with absolute garbage booking, and he's had to deal with all the criticism that comes with being the face of the company that is not being creatively fulfilling. And let's not forget, Roman had this, but Roman had it at a time where there wasn't an obvious competition for people to chant for, where there wasn't an obvious competition for people to switch the channel over to.
Roman also didn't make it worse by going out on Twitter and kind of feeding into everything that everyone hates about him.
Roman and Cena before him kind of gave a bit of a masterclass of just like ignore the hate. You know what I mean? You go out there, do the best you can.
Rise above.
Rise above. That's it, Seth. Rise above. Let's move on about this, because I hate talking about how lame Seth Rollins is now.
Okay, SmackDown. Lots of things happened on SmackDown. Obviously, the Go Home edition for Survivor Series. We will start with the opening match. Was Rhea Ripley against Charlotte Flair against Sasha Banks in a triple threat match of all the team captains, which I guess we've got to find out the NXT.
Kind of. There was a bit. It wasn't officially sort of unveiled, but there was a bit of a tease that this was going to be.
Yeah.
The team, the
Rhea
War
Ripley
Games
is
team.
the captain, but Tony Storm was in there.
The War Games team plus Tony Storm, which is good, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, Rhea Ripley won this. I really liked the finish to this match, because Charlotte had Sasha in the figure of 8, and then Rhea Ripley kind of dived underneath Charlotte's shoulders when she was bridging, hooked her arms, got the pin, 1, 2, 3. Really good finish.
That I can't believe it was one of those. I was watching it last night, and I was like, how has nobody ever thought of that spot before? That's really clever.
So well, especially in a triple threat environment. That's so good. Undisputed Era beat Heavy Machinery and The New Day. Brian came out because he was wanting to summon Bray Wyatt.
Good little promo, this.
It was a good promo. He was very angry. He wanted to get some things off his chest. He's saying we can just sort of have a chat about things, chat about the history, chat about our relationship. But if that doesn't sound fun, we can just have a big fight and that will be fun. Anyway, the lights went off. Everyone thought it was going to be Bray, but no, it was The Miz. He came out. He was saying that unlike Brian, he's a professional. Brian interrupted.
It was just atypical good back and forth between The Miz and Daniel Bryan. This wasn't it?
Playing off their history. It was good stuff. But anyway, that led to a match. And then just as Brian, he had Miz down in the corner, and he was just about to go for the yes chant, and he got the first yes, and then the lights went off. Out comes Bray, attacks Miz with the mandible claw. All good stuff.
It was really good. It was another one of these where you remember just how good the chemistry between Miz and Bryan as orators is. It never quite clicked in their feud in the actual ring, but just as two people who can spar with each other verbally, they're unmatched, I think.
Whenever they're in the ring, they've just got so much history there, and they just keep on building it and keep on playing off it.
There's still a match in there.
Really, really
I know
well.
They did when they completely dropped the ball on his return, they did a very, very lame few matches with it. Let's not forget the Maurice Distraction Brie Bella tag team thing. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. However, I still believe there was a top 4 pay-per-view money main event in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
Somewhere down the line. And I still think it's got to be one of those long-running quest to become champion followed by simultaneous Royal Rumble win. There's got to be 2 stories kept really far apart until...
But just the sort of natural,
God, it's going to be Miz Bryan.
Coming together. Anyway, Shayna Baszler came out and she was talking about how Bayley didn't like being attacked from behind, so there she was, come out, meet her face to face. Bayley attacked her from behind.
Clever that.
Good stuff. Anyway, the main event was Roman Reigns, Ali, and Shorty G going up against Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. Weird that your SmackDown team, after a show that's been very much based on the opening promo was all of Team SmackDown together, opening the doors for Raw and NXT.
Yep.
And then they just fight each other at the end.
It was weird because the show, everything about it was a solid sort of 6.5, 7, bordering on an 8 out of 10, every single segment.
Yep.
And even the builds to the main event throughout the show were quite good. And I was like, that's probably going to be quite a good tag team match, that, even though I'm going to mentally snip out the brand supremacy thing. Because again, and I've said this in loads of videos, they've never explained why any of these brands want to fight each other. Yeah. NXT you can get because they've got a point to prove. But
it's
every
Sasha
year...
at the beginning of that triple threat match, she was out there with all of Team SmackDown and she was like, let's put our differences behind and fight together.
Why?
Why do you care?
Never ever explained it. But yeah, this match was quite bad. It was the worst segment of the night was the main event.
Yeah. Anyway, Roman Reigns won at the end. And then out from the crowd comes all of Raw, big brawl, obviously. And then it cuts to backstage and the gates to the arena open up. And who's there but Triple H riding a tank down into the arena with pretty much the entire NXT roster.
I will say, this is purely me being a wargaming nerd, right? Everywhere else is saying, oh, they rode a tank in. It's not. It's an artillery jeep, right? It's an artillery jeep. There's a big difference between the two things. It's not armoured for a start.
With Michael Cole screaming, what's this? It's not 1998. That's not DX. This is NXT.
Do you know what? Michael Cole screaming, it's not 1998, could be a commentary line, or it could also be him feeding some talk back to Vince in his ear.
And yeah, that was the finish to SmackDown, a big brawl to end it.
Do you know what? Michael Hanford put this best. He's going to have to get tit replacement surgery when he gets back to the UK, because God forbid you do any surgery on the US healthcare system, because he popped his clean off when he saw that segment at the end. It's brilliant. But one of the other things from SmackDown, which was brilliant, which you very kindly neglected to mention because it's on my list of news stories there, is there was a brand new Intercontinental title that was unveiled last night. Sami Zayn.
Shiny.
It was. Sami Zayn had a bag. He's like, hey guys, do you want to know what's in the bag? And everyone's like, Eric Rowan's pet, Liv Morgan, what is actually in there? It came out, it was a brand new design for the Intercontinental Championship. It is on screen now. Phil, is it?
Probably.
Well, this is it, I think. Otherwise, we're just looking at the camera looking weird. Really nice, I think. Nice big pictorial representations of course, the great continents of Russia and the Atlantic Ocean. Really, really good design, this. It's smart, it looks really good on.
It's one of the nicer belts that they've debuted, main roster belts.
It's amazing it's not just a big W. There's a very tasteful W in the middle of it, and that's
it's kind of a nice sort of modern interpretation of that classic sort of big gold belt kind of style.
I like it.
It's good.
As you suggested though, if they were going to basically sit down and go, we need to redesign one of the belts,
Yeah.
Wasn't probably the Intercontinental title.
Don't take away your nicest belt on the main roster.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been rumours of a belt being redesigned. Obviously, we got the Blue Universal title.
And
then this, but I don't think anyone had the IC title as the one down as that they were going to.
I think the US title that badly needs a revamp. It looked very samey for a long old time. It's lost its luster for me. That's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Anyway,
well, I've got a question for you about that belt at the end.
Okay.
I didn't formally prepare Twitter questions.
Okay.
It's Saturday, who can be asked, but I have got one for you based on that. So
fair. Anyway, Steve Austin. He's been on ESPN chatting about wrestling like you do. I have got a couple of quotes here from him. He was asked if he's ever going to step foot in the ring again. And he said, "I'd be happy to give you a 2-letter answer. No."
That's the news. That's all you have it all in the comments.
I'll keep going. It's like people say it's show business, and in the wrestling business, it's never say never. If you ask me, Steve, do you have a couple of stunners, a couple of right hands, or do you have some hell raising left in you? Absolutely, I do. But to go in there, lace them up, and go for like 15 to 20 minutes, no man, I don't. Nor do I want to. I did what I did, and in WrestleMania 19, that was my last match with The Rock. He beat me 1-2-3, right in the middle of the ring. Took 3 rock bottoms, but that was the last match Stone Cold Steve Austin will ever have.
Good on him. Firstly, though, has he ever watched any of these legend matches in the Saudi Arabians or the First World? They're not 15, 20 minutes. If you've got a little bit of hell raising left in you.
Triple H ones are.
Oh, Christ. If you've got a little bit of hell raising left in you, you can probably squeeze one out. But no, I like this. He's the one. Now that Shawn Michaels unretired, Jesus, God, that still haunts me.
Shame.
He is the one who stayed gone. And God, I hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
Besides, he's got too much else going on for him.
I know, yeah, with his TV shows and things. He went out on his own terms as well.
Yeah.
Like, he got to pick the way he went out. He went out on his back and, like, to little extravaganza.
Good on him.
Nice
Good on him.
Anyway, he went on to talk about
CM Punk, though, isn't he, according to the headline of this video?
He went on to talk about CM Punk as well. And he says, basically, it's pure speculation, but he's certainly... it's whether Punk's going to wrestle, basically. Pure speculation, but he's certainly young enough and in good enough shape to do it. I know that he's still doing his MMA training, so I know that he's in shape. I don't know, that's completely up to Punk, but I'm just excited that he's back with the WWE. Some things have been mended. I know there was hard feelings on either side, so the fact that he's back in the fold, I know he loves the business of professional wrestling and sports entertainment.
Good save there, Steve.
Yeah. He's very opinionated, has a very knowledgeable opinion of the business because of the roads that he's travelled and the level of success that he's had. He's a smart guy, great promo and a great analytic mind, and he's glad that he's back.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to get asked a question on CM Punk, aren't they?
Pretty much, yeah, I think so.
Good example of how to answer it without looking like a little bitch, isn't it, Seth?
Stock answer.
Anyway, I wouldn't have normally bent down to... I'm really hoping you put the image of Austin over as I went down to get those notes. You're probably going to have to deliver now.
That, yeah.
Well, I did it really subtly because there's no way I could get through this without the notes because there's very, very complex medical extrapolation here which I'm going to need to get to. Anyway, Sheamus might be returning at Survivor Series is the rumour. WWE have flown him in to Chicago. For what reason, we know not. But when you fly a wrestler into the location of a show, it's usually to do a bit of wrestling. The guy's been sidelined since the post-WrestleMania episode of, was it SmackDown or Raw? SmackDown.
There you go.
You remember that? That went down really well, didn't it? Everybody cheered when he, on Raw, when they interrupted. Yeah, probably best has been away for that, but he got a concussion on the following episode of SmackDown after that. Raw, he's been away since then, but he has also been recovering from spinal stenosis. And what is spinal stenosis, Adam? I hear you ask. Well, dear viewer, spinal stenosis, or narrowing, is a common condition that occurs when the small spinal canal, which contains the nerve roots and spinal cord, becomes compressed, thus causing a pinching of the spinal cord and or nerve roots, which leads to pain, cramping, weakness, or numbness. And Aspire, the charity here in the UK, who offer to support the 50,000 UK adults who suffer with spinal cord injury every day, say it can happen to anyone. But apparently, according to the Wrestling Observer, he's been cleared as recently as September and should be coming back at any point, so they've flown him into Chicago to maybe do a wrestle. Yes, I will have to put that into last minute rumours, even though I've already recorded it.
Yay!
Yay, Sheamus! I like Sheamus.
I like Sheamus too. I'd be glad to see Sheamus back.
I would be glad to see him back, but also when he started doing those Paddy Power adverts, it obviously did make my brain go, we could hire Sheamus. So if he's going to get back to WWE, that's a bit of a disappointment, because I'd like him to work for WhatCulture Wrestling. If you would like Sheamus to work for WhatCulture Wrestling,
tweet him. Sheamus and
tweet him. Tell him. The boys.
The door is open.
The door is open to Sheamus. Probably can't afford him, but
probably not. Well, we can try.
We'll try something.
Anyway, speaking of people coming back to wrestling,
Oh, we still got more.
Hogan wants to wrestle again.
God.
He has also been through some recent surgery of back surgery. He had
Getting his foot out his mouth.
He had 6 levels of his back fused together. So I don't know why after that you would ever want to come back into the ring, but he does because he's Hulk Hogan. Anyway,
6 levels of his back fused together. There are levels of the back.
Like the spinal column, yeah.
Oh Jesus! My dad's had his ankle fused together and he can't walk. So
And Hogan wants to wrestle.
6 spinal fusions. Well, I wonder what Aspire, the UK charity who support the 50,000 UK adults dealing with spinal injuries every single day, would have to say about that.
I assume don't do leg drops every day of your life.
You see ones that apparently it's shortened his height by a couple of inches, just compressing his spine from dropping the leg.
Wrestling!
Got to be careful how often you drop the leg. Not good for your health.
Anyway, Hogan was speaking to a Saudi Arabian YouTube channel. And he says, and I quote, "Yeah, I've been talking to Vince McMahon. History is very important to me. I've had a very long career, and part of my career was a very, very small company and a gracious lady named Dixie Carter. A very, very small company. I actually had, which company is that? Oh, who knows? I actually had my last match there. That's hard for me to live with. I want my last match to be with WWE. So he's been pushing and negotiating very hard, and I'm getting very, very healthy again. Very, very healthy. I'm in good shape. I'm a little bit under 300 pounds, maybe 295 pounds, and I'm getting ready. I'm going to have one little teeny surgery on my back. It'll take me a couple of months to recover, but I've got my eyes focused on WrestleMania."
Remember Goldberg saying he thought he had one more match left in him for WWE?
Yeah.
Can he jackhammer Hogan, do you reckon? Or better yet, botches. I get a lot of stick for the amount of stick I give Hulk Hogan, but he said what he said. He said what he said.
He went on to say who he'd like to face in this one more match.
Oh.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, I don't know, a tall one. One that makes a lot of money.
The one I'd love to get in the ring with, if I only had one person, it would be Vince McMahon.
To be fair, right, in a heartbeat there, I've turned around on this idea. I would
Hogan versus Vince McMahon.
I'd watch Hogan versus Vince. I'd watch Hogan versus Vince. Right, Twitter question.
Yay.
Now, nobody I can credit with this individually because about 10 people have sent us it in the hours since SmackDown went off the air. But Phil, do you think that the reason they have unveiled the brand new Intercontinental title is because Cody Rhodes is so widely associated with the old one?
I hadn't thought of that.
No, neither had I until I got all the tweets about it. Now,
but maybe.
Somebody said, I forgot to check this before I came on. Somebody said Cody actually unveiled this belt, or he was the inaugural holder of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like all on bringing prestige back to the IC title, wasn't he? I remember. Do
you reckon that's why they've done it? I remember.
Probably, yeah.
Well, there you have it. Let us know what you made of all these stories in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, of course, WhatCulture Wrestling now working Saturdays for fuck's sake. Phil, where can they get you on Twitter?
At Phil My Chambers.
I'm at Adam Cleary, CLERY. The entire WhatCulture Wrestling family at your disposal at WhatCulture WWE. I say disposal because people want to put us in the bin. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. This has been your hashtag.
No.
Saturday. No. Bye.
No.
Goodbye.
Bye.